Riitta and Eine's intended bicycle journey to appreciate Finland's natural beauty took a tragic turn, culminating in the untimely demise of both young girls. The heinous act sent shockwaves throughout the nation, leaving people grappling with the question of who could be responsible for such a horrifying crime. However, solving the mystery proved to be an immensely challenging task. The road north. On the radiant day of July 18, 1951, two close friends, 23-year-old Riitta Pakkanen and 21-year-old Eine Nissanen, embarked on a delightful bicycle journey. The duo had meticulously prepared for this adventure over the past few weeks, engaging in practice sessions, gathering essentials, and even crafting makeshift sleeping bags from old blankets. Their destination was Kolli National Park in North Karelia, a 300-kilometer trek from their home in Jyväskylä. Anticipating a 12-day expedition, the girls, seasoned hikers, brimmed with enthusiasm. Accompanying them on this escapade were a borrowed camera from Pakkanen's brother, snug clothing, a tent, plastic utensils, provisions, and 13 finish marks. Postcards. Adorned in short shorts, straw hats, and ballet flats, the hikers traversed their route at a leisurely pace, capturing the attention of passers-by with their radiant smiles and infectious laughter. A family from the village of Rantasalmi, whom the girls assisted with haymaking in exchange for a night's lodging, held a particularly vivid memory of the encounter. At nearly every stop, they sent postcards to assure their loved ones of their well-being. The contents revealed that the cyclists boarded a ferry in Savonlinna, transporting them to Joensuu, followed by a brief walk to the national park. On July 25, Riitta mailed a postcard from the Kolli post office with the message, "Hi, we've just arrived in Kolli. Today, we're heading back. The journey is fantastic, but we're longing for home-cooked meals, sauna, and comfy beds. On July 27, we'll visit Varkaus, where Eine's relatives live. Expect us back by the middle or end of next week. Best wishes." Returning. On their return journey, the girls paused at a guest house in Pulvijärvi. On the evening of July 26, they attended a dance where they encountered two young men. However, before midnight, Riitta and Eine returned to their room together. On the morning of July 27, after breakfast, the duo set off for Varkaus, covering 90 kilometers out of the 140 to the town. Realizing the need to halt for the night, they selected the village of Heinävesi. Inquiring at a local store, they were directed to a small camping site named Tulilahti, situated right on the lake shore, by the fire. This campsite, seldom frequented by tourists, occupied a modest space adjacent to the forest and featured a petite beach. On July 27, Eine and Riitta found themselves the sole occupants of the site, although a group of locals noticed their arrival around 6 p.m. Setting up a compact green tent, the girls changed into warmer attire and gathered wood for a fire. By approximately 7 p.m., two young men, 18-year-old Keijo and 21-year-old Heikki, arrived at the campsite. This quartet had previously crossed paths in Heinävesi. The guys assisted the girls in kindling a fire, and the group engaged in a lively evening by the warmth of the flames, chatting, laughing, and indulging in some playful antics. Eventually, the atmosphere turned more intimate with hugs and kisses, but the girls declined to extend the festivities. Consequently, around 23:30, Keijo and Heikki graciously withdrew from the scene. Disappearance. The following day, the young men decided to pay Eine and Riitta another visit before their departure. However, upon reaching the campground in the morning, they discovered the absence of the girls, despite being informed that the duo would remain until the afternoon. Annoyed by the unexpected turn of events, Keijo and Heike reluctantly headed back home. Yet, the disappointment experienced by Keijo and Heike paled in comparison to the growing concern gripping Riitta and Eine's parents, as the girls failed to return home on July 30, July 31, or August 1. Meanwhile, Pakkanen, typically a responsible and diligent young woman, had to resume work on August 3. The uncharacteristic behavior raised alarms. Consequently, on August 4, Riitta's mother reported the disappearance of both tourists to the police. On the trail. With no sightings of the girls in 7 days, authorities promptly initiated a search by reconstructing Riitta and Eine's route. The search area spanned extensively, prompting hundreds of volunteers to join the effort, with regular radio broadcasts keeping the public informed. Regrettably, their collective endeavors yielded no results. Heike and Keijo, however, only approached the police on August 10. Having caught wind of the missing hikers through radio announcements, the young men eventually shared details about their encounter with Riitta and Eine. They provided a meticulous account of the events on the evening of July 27 and indicated the specific location where the girls had camped, including the spot where they assisted in starting a fire. Notably, the young men did not raise suspicions with the police, and they also possessed a credible alibi for the night of July 27-28. A shallow grave. Heike and Keijo's account significantly narrowed down the search, but the discovery of the girls' bodies didn't occur until August 21. Surprisingly, the grave was merely 215 meters from the campsite. The clandestine burial site was expertly concealed by deadwood and vegetation, rendering it virtually invisible from a distance. The perpetrator had even strategically placed small trees to further mask it. Remarkably, during the search, more than a dozen people had unknowingly passed by the location without noticing anything, underscoring the cunning and ingenuity of the killer. Upon unearthing the pit, in addition to finding Riitta and Eine, the police recovered some of the girls' possessions and an unfamiliar jacket meticulously enveloping Nussinen's head. A final farewell. The bodies were transported to the forensic department, where the causes of death were ascertained. Eine had succumbed to the use of a knife by the perpetrator, while Riitta had faced an unspecified blunt object. No additional violence had been inflicted upon them. The murder of the two female tourists resonated throughout the entire country, drawing over 8,000 people to their funeral. Even after more than 70 years, this crime remains one of the most notorious in the nation. The intense public outcry for swift justice placed immense pressure on the police. Faced with this demand, officers intensified their efforts in scouring the area around the campground, uncovering a growing number of leads in their pursuit of the perpetrator. Findings. Soon, another meticulously concealed cavity came to light, housing the tent, bicycle bags, and all of the girls' remaining belongings. The inventory included a camera, 2 dark blue bicycles, straw hats, bathing suits, and the money they had brought along, although not a substantial amount. Among the discoveries was a metal shovel, seemingly pilfered from a nearby farm belonging to gravedigger Ferdinand and his 3 adult sons. Police version. On September 4, 1951, scuba divers retrieved 2 bicycles from the lake's deepest section, suggesting that the individual who discarded them likely possessed knowledge of the area. The police have formulated the most plausible sequence of events. They posit that the assailant targeted the girls during the night of July 27-28. Riitta and Eine, seemingly asleep and defenseless, fell victim to the attacker. Subsequently, the assailant proceeded to a farm located 500 meters from the campsite, pilfering a shovel. With the stolen shovel, the perpetrator dug a grave, concealed the bodies, and adeptly camouflaged the site. Returning to the tent, the assailant rifled through the camper's possessions, extracting the most valuable items. The remaining belongings were then buried in the forest, and the bicycles were disposed of using an old boat anchored nearby. Suspects. The police suspected that the perpetrator was a local resident, given the intimate knowledge of the area displayed. Initially, the gravedigger Ferdinand and his 3 sons underwent questioning, but all 4 were soon cleared of suspicion. Subsequently, attention shifted to an acquaintance of Ferdinand's son named Tuvo. Notably, he bore a visible cut on his arm, and a search of his residence revealed a blood-stained shirt. Tuvo asserted that the shirt had functioned as a makeshift bandage for a hand injury, a claim corroborated by a witness. The investigation then turned to Keijo and Heike. The young men willingly collaborated with the authorities and shared during interrogation that on the afternoon of July 27, they had observed a dubious individual riding a blue moped near the Tulilahti campground. This account found support from other witnesses, leading to the creation of a composite sketch depicting a tall, blonde-haired man aged 30-40, clad in a leather jacket. Thief. The case remained stagnant for 8 years until the arrest of 35-year-old Erik Runar Holmström on November 6, 1959. Known to law enforcement as a petty thief residing approximately 450 kilometers west of Tulilahti, he was apprehended based on a witness identifying him as the individual on the moped who had trailed Riitta and Eine on July 27, 1951. However, it should be noted that the suspect's appearance diverged somewhat from the composite sketch, particularly in terms of hair color and height. Upon his arrest, Holmström was found in possession of an unusual assortment of items, including a knife resembling the potential murder weapon and women's underwear. Transported to Tulilahti for a site visit, Holmström displayed visible nervousness, but refused to confess to any wrongdoing. During the return journey, in casual conversation with the escorts, Runar began recounting the events of that pivotal night. He admitted to trailing the girls throughout the day and in the evening lurking near the campground. He waited until Keijo and Heike had departed, and as the campers slept, he stealthily approached the tent. Runar will come and get you. However, once in jail, Holmström recanted, asserting that he had been joking and now denied his earlier statements. He further claimed that the police officers transporting him had fabricated and lied about the entire narrative. Nevertheless, on July 8, 1960, the trial commenced, with Holmström facing charges of theft and 2 counts of murder. By then, the press had already cast him as guilty, branding him a monster and a beast. Mothers even used his name to frighten their children, cautioning them, "Behave yourself or Runar will come and take you away." The case against Holmström relied solely on circumstantial evidence, and everything seemed set for justification. However, unexpectedly, on May 8, 1961, he took his own life. Why? According to an inmate who conversed with Runar in prison, the burden of being labeled a murderer became unbearable for him. He believed that even if acquitted, he would never be allowed to lead a peaceful life. As a result, the mystery surrounding the murders of the 2 female tourists who spent their final night at the Tulilahti campground remains unsolved to this day. Meanwhile, the name Runar has evolved into a moniker for a dreadful monster purportedly roaming the Finnish forests, preying on small children. I hope you liked this story. Please don't forget to leave a comment sharing with your thoughts below. Give a thumbs up this video and remember to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more captivating stories. Thank you for joining us on this remarkable journey, and we'll see you in the next video.